All right, so the first question we're going to go for is from MattMac1. He asked on YouTube, what is your tips for spending money on food, and how much would you spend and where would you go? So I think when he says spending money is more like saving money, because we always try to save money somewhere. So yeah, let's go and let's talk about how to save money on food.
Yeah, so there are three main big supermarket chains in New Zealand. That is Pack and Save, Countdown and New World. And usually in the smaller towns in New Zealand, you'll only have a choice of one of those. So you pretty much have to go with what you can get. But in the larger towns and cities, you're more likely to find a selection of those. And yeah, usually typically the more cheaper supermarket is Pack and Save, but that's not always the case. So you don't need to make any huge decisions based on that. But there are some smaller convenience store-like supermarkets as well, like Foursquare and Fresh Choice, especially Fresh Choices in the South Island. So they're another option as well. Do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I want to go through some money-saving tips. So let's go with grocery shopping first. So here's a few tips for saving money when doing your grocery shopping. Well, the first one is to get some of those discount cards. New World has a New World Club card, and Countdown has like a one card. And you can actually get visitor version of those. They're made of paper. And when you scan it, you get an extra discount. So anything that will have something like one card special or club deal, it will be a discount that you can only get when you swipe that card. So the first tip is to get that, because it can save you $1 here and there. So make sure you grab your discount cards. Now the second tips for that is to shop at closing time. Now it's very well known almost throughout the entire world that around closing time they go around the meat section and they discount everything that has been sold for the day. They do similar things, like they do bags of fruit which are about to kind of be almost too good right now. They're ready to eat right now, but they're not good enough for tomorrow, and they discount those things as well. So shopping around closing time is really good. Now closing time can be around 6 o'clock and can be around 9 o'clock. It really depends where you are.
And on that note as well, they actually do those sort of deals really early in the morning when they first open sometimes. So that's also worth looking at as well. If you're an early bird, get to the supermarket as soon as it opens and you might find some good deals on fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, what else do I have right here? Oh yeah, don't shop when you're hungry. That's world famous. I see that everywhere on the internet. It's like, if you shop when you're hungry, you want a snack and you grab so much more. It happens to me all the time. I always grab a couple of chocolates or something like that if I'm hungry. By the way, guys, on the live chat, tell me if I'm talking too fast. I've received a lot of comments about that, and I'm trying to slow down, but sometimes I kind of forget. So tell me if I'm
just too enthusiastic.
Yeah. The next tip when you do your grocery shopping is to buy versatile ingredients. Now we have an article about the must-have food items for backpackers when you travel around. The thing that you can cook almost with everything, the things which are super easy to find and that are cheap enough. So we'll link to the article below, but basically you need some rice, you need some pasta, some tuna, just those things that you can use with everything. It's so much easier that way. So make sure you go for versatile ingredients. You do not need to get some, bay leaves or whatever, things like that. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
And finally, when you are shopping, make sure to compare the prices. New Zealand supermarkets are notorious for, being really good at tricking consumers. They will put one price for 454 grams box, but then next to a 386 gram box. It's complete nonsense. And then they will put the prices per 100 grams or per liter or per kgs. And sometimes next to each other, two, let's say, pot of sour cream, they put the price per 100 grams, and next to it, the other one is going to be priced per kg. And so you have to make the conversion. So make sure that you look at those things to be able to actually understand how much you're actually paying for what you're getting. So that's the tips for when you do your grocery shopping. Now we have some more generic kind of food tips. when traveling around New Zealand, and Laura's going to cover them.
So first of all, try to limit the amount of times that you eat out. It's pretty common and common knowledge that if you do cook for yourself, you will save an absolute killing compared to eating out. Even if you're eating out at McDonald's, the cheapest places that you can eat out, that's gonna work out to be more expensive than if you were to cook for yourself. So another...
I knew you wanted it.
So another way to save some money when actually cooking for yourself is to cook with friends, or to sort of find someone to cook food with. So what a lot of people do if they're staying in hostels a while, they'll sort of get together and say let's all cook a meal together. Or if you're just two people traveling, then it's always worth splitting the bills that way. And if you're traveling on one of the hop on hop off buses around New Zealand, it's always good to instigate let's go and cook some meals together, and that way you can make your money go a lot further. Another big one as well is, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but don't drink alcohol, or try to limit the alcohol, and limit the amount of alcohol that you're drinking as well, because alcohol is pretty expensive. It's probably going to be the biggest thing on your supermarket budget. So if you can reduce the amount of alcohol you're drinking, you're going to save absolutely.
Even when you go out, you're going to spend at least $8 for a pint of beer.
Exactly.
Then if you have more than 3 pints of beers, well, you're already at almost $30, and now you're hungry because you have the munchies. So then you want to buy a bit of chips. It goes up really quickly.
Yeah, and one last thing I think I'd like to add on to that, just about supermarket shopping again, is if you are a big meat eater, then maybe just reduce the amount of meat that you're buying, because that is one of the most expensive things to add to your supermarket budget. And maybe just reduce that to eating meat maybe once, twice, 3 times a week, and that will save you so much money as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now I'm just going to go through a couple of extra tips really quickly. So when you cook for yourself, make sure that you're aware of portions. Don't cook too much. I see that in every hostels we go, every hostel kitchen, you get some people that literally cook an entire pot of pasta for 4, and then they end up just kind of leaving it on the free food shelf. Which brings up the free food shelf. In every hostel, there's a free food shelf. Basically, when people move on from one hostel to the other, they place their remaining food or thing they don't want to carry onto a shelf in the kitchen, which is labeled free food, and then you can help yourself. The staff of the hostel also does that when they clean the kitchen, which is usually around mid to late morning. They go through everything, and anything in the hostel's fridge which hasn't been labeled and dated, they consider the guest has checked out, so they take it and they put it on the free food shelf. So there is quite a lot of food to be found on the free food shelf.
In addition to that, make sure you label your food in hostels, or else your food might get chucked away and then you have to buy it all over again. And that's not good for the budget, is it?
No, that's not good for the budget. And lastly, well, there is quite a few hostels now that offer free breakfast. So if you want to save money on food, get a hostel that offers free breakfast, so you don't have to spend that much on food, since you get free breakfast. All right, so Matt, I hope that this answered your question. If you do have any follow-up questions, in the comment below. If you are watching a rerun of this video, make sure you put your questions in the comment below on any of our YouTube videos, and we get to it when we get live. So that's pretty cool.